Thank you for taking part of our experimental program, where we will transfer you to liminal spaces. Usually, I will be the tour guide as I go through everything like I do my Jet 2 holiday reviews, but as for now, I will be your guide and you can ask me anything regarding to what liminal space we teleport to. Are you ready? Okay, come with me. This liminal space is called Insomnia. It's like the inspired Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, but there is lots to explore, and if you like nature, there is some nature here. However, you are unable to go outside. If you try to go outside, you will fall into the abyss, and then you'll teleport back into the center of Insomnia. We have tiny swimming pools, but they can go up to your tippy toes. You will see there's mushrooms and some foods that you can consume. However, they are artificial, or some are just for decoration purposes, so don't be fooled about that. You can also play golf, but you are playing by yourself, so you are not expecting anyone else to be around with you. It's a very colourful paradise. You can treat this as your home. And the good thing about this place is you will no longer feel hungry. That's right, as we got loads of artificial mushrooms around, and there's not really a fridge nearby, we have installed a system where no one can feel hungry. As I said before, the only downside about this liminal space is you are unable to go outside. There is no food. There may be no television, no video games, no source of technology. You may take your phone with you, but that will be your only technology that you'll be using. You may charge your phone in here, free cost. And where to sleep? You sleep where the mushrooms are. You rest your head on the mushrooms, and then you will be in a trance to fall asleep. This is just another way of consuming sleeping pills, but you're not consuming anything. You are just smelling it, just like lavender. What do you think of this liminal space? Let's move on then. This next liminal space is Mr. Blue Sky. By the name, it is a place that involves the bright blue sky. The bright, beautiful sky. As you can see, the environment is rather dark, but it's mostly white. It's somewhat old-fashioned, like you watch on TV from the 1960s, back when there was no colour. This is somewhat inspired by it. This place can be your home, but you'll be just by yourself. There is no one around this place. Those houses you see up the hill, no one lives in them. So, if you are curious, you can hop inside and discover some things. In fact, one of the houses has a hidden treasure box. But the treasure box may not be what you think. Or just forget about it and just enjoy your time in the Mr. Blue Sky liminal space. Actually, On the research, we have discovered that there is a ghost lurking around Mr. Blue Sky. It's an old gentleman who passed away 65 years ago. He was just an old farmer, and sometimes you will see him just sitting by those chairs over there, and he will just be reading a book. And if you do see the ghost, do not bother him. If you do bother him, the world will malfunction for about 5 minutes. It will cause the place to have a sudden glitch when the textures and models decided to deteriorate for 2.5 seconds. And as the world glitches, a very, very small possibility that you could clip through the world and fall into the abyss. But don't worry, you will respawn back onto the field like nothing happened. What do you think of Mr. Blue Sky? Fine. If you were a gamer around 2004, you may like this, especially if you like guns, you liked having a gang, rule the streets, hijacking cars, and doing tons of missions as the main character. This liminal space is called San Andreas. Yes, you play exactly like Carl Johnson. You won't play just like him, you are your own. You will spawn to the world with a white vest and blue jeans. Your hair and everything else is unaffected by the transportation. But you will start off being broke. And you need to approach Grove Street to start shining. And what I mean by shining is where your mission and your venture begins. The good thing about this universe is if you die, you'll be revived back at the hospital within 5 seconds. But it may cost a few bucks, or you may go in debt. You can choose any haircut you want without worrying about getting bald. You can also go to the barbers and have your own hairstyles. You could be bald, you can have very, very long hair, you can have an afro, you can have anything you want. As you may be familiar with this game, I won't go through a lot of this, but I'm sure that you may like this place if you have been playing games around 2004. What do you think? Let's move on then. The next liminal space is Atlanta. Atlanta is based underwater. It's kind of like the Cyberpunk 2077 liminal space, or underwater. This place, you will be protected. You will not drown if there seems to be a leakage involved. But, of course, you'll be lonely. There is no one around here other than some spirits of fish warriors. Yes, like half human, half fish people. They're usually frozen in these sculptures that you see when you walk up the stairs. But I may not show you that because they don't like their peace to be invaded. So be aware of that. You can have all of the drinks and foods that are available. They are all free. In fact, you'll be served by a dispenser. You can have your own swimming pool. You can have a hot tub. Anything you could ever imagine when it involves contact with water. Now, the only downside about this place is there is a policy about charging your phone or using technology, not because there's a risk of being electrocuted, but it's more like this is a place where you're meant to enjoy yourself and not just slack around in your bedroom. What happens is, if you have been absent from using these activities for days, you may be restricted or be forced to participate in the events that happens around Atlanta. This place is haunted, after all, by many ghosts of the warriors 200 years ago. This is the place they would worship. So if you disobey, you'll get a surprise, an unpleasant surprise. What do you think about Atlanta? Okay, let's move on. The next liminal space is corrupt save file exe. That's right, that's what it's called, corrupt save file exe. Now, this place is actually a functioning file for liminal space. I've checked all through its information. It's just a silly name that they've put it in just to make it sound scary. I mean, it is a very scary liminal space because it involves some very strange people. Even though the place looks very old, but it's very pretty, you may come across some very creepy stuff. Possibly like seeing a giant eye in the sky, or giant eyes anywhere. Could be on the trees. You could see dinosaurs. You could see some very strange figures in the distance, very unknown figures. I don't even know who they are, but to me it doesn't look good. It looks quite suspicious. Of course, you will have dragons that might give you a little tour about this place, but I wouldn't recommend it because they are vicious creatures. Of course, we got the pools that we can use, but we can't use it at night because these in fact have been affected by a spell by one of the demonic people of the church, where after a certain period of time, the water turns into lava and then you'll rot away. This is a good place to explore. No one will bother you. They might give you weird looks, but don't interfere with their own spaces. It's not worth it. Any strange person, figure, anything that goes in your way, do not interfere. Keep your own distance and continue to walk forward. If you ever get approached by anyone, do not respond back. Considering this liminal space is not a very functioning space, because it is originally a corrupted file, we don't want you to accidentally break the code and resulting to unload the map for any reason, even simply by accident. Just like in a video game. What do you think? The next liminal space is Hand's Ship. It's a big village known for hands. Instead of rabbits, birds, squirrels, or any creatures in the wild, hands are a replacement. Animals don't exist in Hand's Ship. The village of Handship is a very isolated village. There's no people in this place. It's haunted. Considering everyone who has passed away, their bodies decease, but their hands don't. If you choose to stay at this place, you will have to wear gloves every single day. Do not expose any part of your hand whatsoever. Make sure that your hands are covered, including your arms. What do you think about this liminal space? I see. Let's move on to the next. The next liminal space is called Falling Waters. It's a little town, neighbourhood, where it features different sorts of waterfalls. I encourage you to not have contact with the waterfalls, considering how fresh and clear it looks. But what happens is, the more you touch it, the more higher chance that you get cursed. And the more stacks of curse, the amount of times you have been in contact with the waterfalls, you will be able to see some mysterious, disturbing creatures in your vision. In fact, you will see creatures lurking around the place, but you can't see it right now because you are not cursed. All the creatures are invisible, and you can clip through them as well, so you don't have to worry about bumping into anything by accident or surprise. You can't hear anything at all. We're just like two different dimensions in Falling Waters. However, when you contact the water, you disconnect from the upside down reality of Falling Waters. Yes, similar to like what you see on Stranger Things. There's lots of pretty pastel buildings around the fields, but there's nothing inside. In fact, half of the buildings are plasticine. They're only there for decoration purposes. They are ornaments, so don't let that fool you. What do you think about this liminal space? Next, we have Time's Ticking. Yeah, that's the name of this liminal space. In this liminal space, every day is your birthday. Yes, that's right. Every day is your birthday. Now, this doesn't sound like much, but it is quite big, because what I'm going to tell you right now is if you stay in this liminal space, you can only live up to, depending on the average age of a human being. So remember, if you've been here for 12 days, it means 12 years has went by, and you have aged 12 years. Also, there's no one going to be at your party, but there will be some hallucinations installed in your mind that one of your loved ones in the past are next to you with your cake, wishing you a happy birthday. And after the 24 hours that has gone by, your memory will be renewed, where you won't remember anything that happens from the past over 24 hours. Because every day is a fresh new day. You may not remember how you got into this liminal space. And you got roughly about 70 days to live if you choose to be in the Time's Ticking party. We have some amusement machines that you can enjoy. They're all free. There's no escape. There'll always be music playing. There is a soft play involved if you want to play or go to sleep. The only food they offer is birthday cakes, some punch, and some crackers. What do you think about this liminal space? Now this one is quite random, but it is very interesting. This liminal space, obviously what you can see, is Starbucks. Imagine having Starbucks as your world, but you are the only customer. You can try all of their drinks or everything on their menus without paying a penny. This is where you can have your breakfast, your lunch, your tea. Any time of the day, you can just go to the counter and food will be teleported instantly on your table. Of course, it's a very isolated place, which is only just yourself here. There is no signs of spirits, ghosts, demons, unknown creatures. It's a very peaceful environment. In fact, you can choose your own music from your Spotify. That's only if you do have Spotify. Of course, that's free as well. Once you settle into this place, you don't have to worry about money. You don't have to worry about working. But you may have to sleep on the tables. That's the only downside. There's no bed. You can't have a bedroom. That is forbidden. You either have to sleep on the tables, and to shower, you have to use coffee. What do you think about this place? I thought so. Well, the last one that I'm going to present you. This liminal space is called the last outpost of civilization. This is like your average day at the countryside, but everything is green and foggy. There is some buildings that still have their lights on, but there's no one living inside. However, only just a couple of those, there is a few people inside, and I have to warn you that these people, you don't want to communicate with them. They're in fact demons in human bodies. When humans die, demons consume their body and then impersonate them like they're everyday people. In this liminal space, you have a 15% chance of dying. What I mean by that, if you mess with the wrong people, they will constantly chase you with sharp weapons, and they will never give up. It's what they say, you can run, but you can't hide. Have you made your mind up? I see. Well, I think you made a very great choice. I'm sure that you will have a very good time. Are you sure that you want to choose this liminal space? Are you really sure? Very well. I am now sending you there in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Goodbye.